Welcome to the New York Outlook for Friday, the 9th of February 2024. Starting off with the economic calendar, as you can see, there were no red folder news events for today, and thus there's no impacts on our trading in that regard. Then moving on to the 4-hour chart, what we can see is that there hasn't really been much price movement for the day. We did come up during the London session and then subsequently pulled down quite significantly. However, it looks like we're losing momentum. Perhaps the momentum will kick in the New York session. In terms of which direction to trade, same as the New York Outlook, there's reasons for both longs and shorts. Given that we're reacting to the pullback phase 1 as well as the pro-trend primary OB as well as anything within these legs. Having said all of that, we can pay attention to the legs that have been validated on the 5 minute. We've got this pullback phase secondary leg that was created as a result of the reaction to this 4H1. Subsequent to that, what we can see is that during the London or Frankfurt session, we actually then validated a pro-trend secondary leg as a result of a new reaction to the primary pro-trend leg. We originally had this original interaction, however, that was subsequently reset when we broke this level with body break. That extended the pullback secondary leg. However, because any valid POIs were situated right here, there was a change of character which validated the pro-trend secondary leg. In terms of secondary legs, the pro-trend secondary leg is the latest information we have, and thus it overrides the pullback phase secondary leg. In terms of taking longs, the only option for us is that the pullback phase secondary leg body breaks this high and extends the pullback secondary leg, in which case we can take further longs. However, for the New York session, I much prefer favoring short trades because the latest leg is the pro-trend secondary leg, and it's unlikely that price is going to come all the way back up and have sufficient average daily range to enable us to take any continuations for the day. Having said all of that, we know that we can only short based on the latest leg. For that reason, I have anchored my FIB to the London high of the day and the extreme. However, the London high of the day wasn't validated and cannot be validated until we have New York news. Because there is no red folder news, we were unable to validate that the London high of the day will hold, and thus we need the New York session to take out this London session low first and then come back into one of these to ideally this POI or a POI in and around this area. Ideally a chain forms something like this, and then the FIB extends. We need the 50% level to align with this POI before we can trade it. Obviously, we need to be cognizant of whether we have sufficient daily range to enable us to actually play the continuation, ideally to this OB and likely to the ERL extreme, which you can see right here. Having said all of that, the summary for the New York Outlook is essentially I'm purely looking for shorts, as I don't see long trades being validated anytime soon. Ideally, there are two things I'm looking for. One is for the London range to be validated by the New York session. That must occur first, and then the second thing to happen is a valid chain S&D flip or something similar must validate a POI. We also need the FIB 50%, 38% or better to align with one of these POIs, from which we can consider trading and placing our stop loss above the London high of the day. However, we also should take cognizance of whether the stop loss is too large. The stop loss of 25 pips is fine because the daily range for GU is roughly 100 pips, so there should be enough space to enable us to take a 1 to 3 trade, that is. Having said all of that, that's pretty much the end of the New York Outlook. I hope you have a good New York session, and we'll chat again for the end of day review.